growing up out in California, a little bitty town called Selma. It was an area that produced Hall of Famer Tommy Seaver, Jim Maloney, that threw 2 no-hitters for the Cincinnati Reds, and it produced 2 decathlon champions, Rayford Johnson out of Kingsburg, 2 miles from where I grew up, and also Bob Mathias out of there, many, many others. And part of the reason for that was the weather. I mean, we could play a Friday night football game, and Saturday morning we were on the baseball field taking batting practice. It was that good. And it was a farming community where you know, it was easy to get the fields fixed. The farmers would all come in and take care of all that for you. But I missed my senior year of baseball. I was unable to play due to an elbow surgery, and I thought my dreams of ever playing professional baseball had ended. I did play football, and I had a couple of these scholarships to play football, but none for baseball at that time. And like I said, I thought I was done as a baseball player. I was going to consider the football game. But anyway, there was a scout. The Dodgers moved to California in '57 or so, and they saturated the entire state with all these scouts. They wanted, you know, some in-state guys on that team to draw attendance for. And one of those scouts was Red Adams, an old Coast League pitcher. And Red, I don't know how he found me, to be honest with you. I didn't play my senior year, but he came knocking. Somebody told him there was a kid over there that might make a ball player. And he invited me up to Los Angeles to work out with the Dodgers. And he said, "Can you do it?" And I said, "Red, I'm not even sure I can swing a bat or throw." And I really couldn't at that time. But I went up there and I worked out with them, and we worked out at old Wrigley Field, which is a exact replica of the one in Chicago. They had one in Los Angeles too, where the Angels played. And we'd work out there in the mornings and go over to the Coliseum at night, and I'd hit balls 9 miles, Leo, in the Coliseum. Got to remember, that's where the LA Rams and the USC Trojans played. It was a football stadium, and left field was 250 feet. Anyway, I ended up signing. Red thought I was going to make a ball player, and I'll never forget what he told me when he signed the contract with me. He says, "Listen," he says, "I've got a place not too far from Selma, and I've got a little acreage out there, and I've got a mule, and I've got a plow. And if you don't do what I think you can do, you and that mule are going to be pulling me and that plow the rest of your life." Anyway, I signed. I knocked around in the minor leaguers for the longest time, got traded many times, and ended up being traded in 1967, the winter of '67, to the New York Yankees. My really first trade that I thought, you know what, I might make that team. Ended up making the team, and that was 1968, and that was my first year and Mickey Mantle's last season. So actually my claim to fame is that I got to play along with the great Mick. As a matter of fact, we held a triple play that stood for 42 years. It was Womack to Cox to Mantle. And they finally turned one last season with Alex Rodriguez at third base. So anyway, I got into managing because I wasn't a very good ball player, to be honest with you. I made the 68 team, the 69 team, the 70 team. Leo will tell you, when we're invited to camp, you know if you're going to make the team or not. And most of the time you're right. And I had my suspicions that I wasn't going to make that 70 team, and my suspicions were right. In baseball, the manager will send guys out, the coaches, to grab the players. I've had a lot of experience in this when we're cutting them, cut down dates and things like that. Well, Pete Sheehy was an old clubhouse guy, and Pete was in charge of getting the player and bringing him into the manager's office and get the bad news. So I saw Pete in the dugout, and I'm standing in right field shagging batting practice out there, and he is headed directly at me, and I know it's coming. He gets out there and he says, "Bobby, Ralph wants to see you in the clubhouse." I said, okay. So I go in, and Ralph's in there, Lee McPhail, the GM, was in there, and they said, we're going a different direction. And I said, well, thanks for the opportunity. I've enjoyed it here. It's been great. And, I've been thinking about getting into something else anyway. My legs were killing me at the time. And they said, Bobby, we'd like you to go to AAA for us and back up just in case we get injuries. And I said, I've got 5 kids already, and maybe it's time then. And Lee McPhail stepped up to the plate, actually, and he said, how about if we give you a $2,000 raise to go down? And that'll get you to even $14,000. I said, oh boy, I can actually make some money this year. My first year, we started out, the salary for first-year players was $7,200. And I put a pencil to that, and I said, I'm going to lose about $1,400 playing in the major leagues. That winter, they raised the minimum to $9,000, so I broke even. Next year, made 11, and that final year, even though it was in AAA, I made $14,000. So, these players now are making out about every at bat. So, baseball has really changed. But anyway, I finished out the year, and we won everything. I was at Syracuse. We won the Governor's Cup. That's the only thing you can win there. We won that. I had a miserable year. And the last series of the season, I was getting ready. We were packing up to go back to California and get the kids back in school and all that. And the manager called me in, Frank Verdi. He says, Lee McPhail from New York is flying in tomorrow, and he wants to have lunch with you. And I said, golly, I wonder why. I couldn't figure it out. I said, I'm not playing good, and they're not going to call me up for the September run, that's for darn sure. The only thing I could think of is he wanted that $2,000 raise back. But anyway, we sat down. I'm just trying to tell you how I got started in this business. And Lee said, Bobby, I've been talking to Ralph Howard, the manager, and we think you make a good manager in our system. And there's a job opening at Fort Lauderdale. Are you interested? I said, Lee, I don't know, And anyway, I ended up taking it. And almost got out that spring, didn't go, almost didn't take the job, and it's been 53 years since. Got fired once, and that was about it. But it's been a great ride, and I have to thank Lee McPhail, honestly, and Ralph Houck. They were my tutors, and really, if he hadn't taken time to fly down there and offer that little minor league job to me, I would have never put on another uniform. In those days, they didn't come knocking for you. But anyway, it's been a great run. I'm thrilled the way the team's performing again this season, and I know it's running late here. The Braves have done a lot of things right for a long time, and we're very proud of their organization, John Sherholtz and the guys. So, at this time, I want to thank you and maybe take a few questions, and we'll get you back on the road.
Any questions?
Is there something going on Friday night? Guys stadium?
Yeah, there's something going on, I'm being inducted into the Braves Hall of Fame at their luncheon, and then that evening, the numbers going to be...
Hello. Skip, every manager always has a favorite umpire who takes a liking to him. Who is your favorite umpire to steal you out more than anybody else?
I don't know who has that distinction, but there's a few in double digits, I'm sure. The fact is, managers and coaches get along with umpires. I mean, we have our run-ins, but, coaches and managers and players would be the first one to an umpire's rescue if he was in any type of predicament whatsoever. And I broke in with Hall of Famer Doug Harvey. I saw him up in Cooperstown about 2 weeks ago. I went up there for Mr. Gillick's induction, and Doug was in the California League calling balls and strikes in 1960, same year I was. So our relationship went way back, and then also through the minor leagues too. Well, I knew that was going to come up today, and I'm not really prepared for that, but the project in Emerson is really coming along. I think they're getting real close to putting the shovels in the dirt right now, and I'll be meeting with those people next week. So it's something that's going to be terrific for Bartow County and surrounding areas. It's a win-win for me.
Coach, we all really loved the 1995 team and where it all came together. Is there a team besides that one that you felt like was the best Braves team you had, other than the 95?
Oh, gosh. I think we had good teams all those years. The 98 team was good. Leo kept the pitching going every year. How could you not be good? And, John Sherrills would always come in and make a little move here and there to get us over the hump. But, I'm going to have to reflect on all that when I haven't had time to do that yet. But, the 91 team is coming in here Friday and Saturday and Sunday through the weekend. It's going to be great for me to see them as well as you people to get out there and see those guys.
Is there a particular player that you didn't think would be on that grade that surprised you and became wonderful?
Some of the best players come way down in the draft. It's not necessarily the number 1, number 2, and number 3 guys. The Braves have always had a great scouting staff and great developers in our minor league system, getting these players to become big leaguers. But, you have your Jeff Blausers, Mark Limke's. I don't think they were blessed with great talent, but you could win with those guys. They knew how to play the game. There's a big difference here, Knowing how to play the game means so much, and makeup means so much too, on the backside of talent.
Coach Cox, I'd just like to say that I've never seen a coach or manager look out for his players as well as you did, and we all as Braves fans appreciate that, and I know the players do as well. So hit the roads.
Well, I think so. Leo and I, we stuck up for them all the time. I mean, there are certain times where we had to talk with them afterwards when we stuck up for them. But I think recognizing what a player does and praise really goes a long ways.
Last one, over here.
Coach Cox, how you doing?
Fine, thank you.
Hey, I'm from Houston, Texas, and I moved here to Atlanta in 1998, and I love those Houston Astros, and I used to talk a lot of smack to the Houston Astros, and every time those Astros would come to town, the Braves would sweep us.
Not only that, we'd get them in Houston too.
At Cal High School, and my players, well, at that time it wasn't at Cal, but our players, but they'd bring damn brooms, because you guys would sweep our ass. I'm sure enjoyed having this opportunity to speak with you, Coach.
Thank you, and I know you know Doug Rader, I'm sure.
Yes, sir.
Managed them and played for him, was an all-star player, and I was talking to Doug one day about the hazards of managing. And he said, Bobby, it's not year to year anymore. It's not month to month, week to week. He said, day to day. So we as managers, I think we lived our careers day to day.